right, January 2024, PSA versus Beckett grading for star cards. Pros and cons, and each has a distinct advantage over the other. Let's talk about it.
The 1980s basketball card market has changed. Let's talk what's currently happening with a focus on 1983 through 86 star basketball cards.
All right, welcome back to the 1980s Star Basketball channel. We're going to be talking about kind of a hot button topic for everyone who's in Star because of the big PSA news a year and a half ago that PSA is now grading Star cards. Obviously, this created a massive shift, and in my mind, along with the Beckett follow-up apology issue, basically has created a shift in the market and a ton of people looking to profit or cross over or to just simply now collect star cards. For a long-time Star people who have had Beckett, it's kind of a mixed feelings. You know, people who grade with BGS. I see some that are embracing it and crossing over and, you know, kind of doing everything if they do want to cross over. But others don't like PSA slabs. So, you know, I'm finding, you know, there's kind of a brand loyalty with Star. You know, BGS kind of stuck through them through this whole time. And now PSA is coming along. So I'm seeing some interesting opinions and dynamics kind of playing out. So for what I thought I'd do for this episode is I'm going to walk through each one and kind of list the pros and cons for each. And each has a distinct advantage. PSA has a distinct advantage over BGS, and BGS has a distinct advantage over PSA. And at the end, I will give my opinion and kind of what I see and where I stand on it and what I like. Because at the end of the day, some of this, you know, obviously, or not even some, maybe most is all down to personal preference of, you know, what you care for, and not just dictated by dollars. So with that, what's first up is going to be PSA. So the first one I'm going to talk about the pros and cons for is going to be PSA. So in these the PSA, and just like for BGS, the pros, some of the pros are the cons. So they kind of play, you know, to which side you like. And that is with PSA, I'll just kind of go out and call it a pro at first. I want to say a higher quality of the card and of the grade. PSA is very tough now. Now that they've started grading, they are very hard on Star. For Star people, they know this. For people who aren't, and PSA is tough. So if you pick up a PSA 6, it's going to be nice, you know, compared to other, like maybe, you know, some of the Fleer 86 Fleer that you see, the PSA 6, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is fairly beaten up. Some PSA 6s for these Star cards are nice. And, you know, that quality, also the price, you know, with that comes a higher, you know, a higher resale value. So with that quality, people know, and obviously PSA is the biggest grading company by far and the biggest brand, and some people only collect PSA. So PSA by grading, for some people who are, you know, kind of like, oh, you know, Beckett people going, is it good that PSA has now started grading Star cards? Of course it is. It will only make everything of yours go up if you're just looking at value and demand. So now that PSA is pro to this, again, the price and the quality and the resale of, you know, the cards, that also is a con because they are more expensive to purchase. And, you know, that going in to get them, it depends if you're a buyer or a seller. So it really is going to come down to which side of the coin you want to be on. Would you rather have an 8 on BGS, or are you okay with a 7 on PSA? So some people really just want to see that big number, that 8. They want to see the 8. It's an 8, and so they won't really go down. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The quality of the card, you got to keep in mind, no matter which slab it's in, the card is the exact same. So, and a lot of people lose focus on that. As soon as it gets into like a PSA slab, somehow it's like different. And it's now a PSA card, and it's not. It's still just a star card. It's just wherever you put it. So one distinct advantage that PSA has by coming in late to the game is more consistency. They control their consistency right now much better because it's only been a year and a half. They're grading these very tough, so they're keeping the range of everything that you can get in very tight, or tighter. Most people think PSA is just as inconsistent as Beckett, and it's not true with Star. You can say that over Fleer. I could see that case and argument being made because I've seen it over the years. PSA has tightened up, and especially with Star cards just coming out to grading them. So that is one distinct advantage. You can look at a PSA 7 copy and you will see another PSA 7 copy, and the quality is going to be very, very close. There's obviously differences in each and every card, but the quality is close. The other thing about Star cards is, you have a lot of different types of cuts and a lot of centering issues. And, they're obviously 40 years old, so it's wear here and there. So these cards are each and different. So when you look at it, it's not like a brand new modern card where they're all pretty much the same starting out. So, the PSA advantage, I find that uniquely special to just PSA. If you buy it, you know what the quality is, and everyone kind of knows, or, within a fairly good range of what their number is going to be. You kind of know where a 6 is going to be. You kind of know where a 7. And again, it's just an advantage right now that PSA has. Right. So pros and cons for BGS. It's going to be a little bit similar in the fact that some of the pros are cons, and they're basically just the exact opposite of PSA. So BGS, generally the large number, the 8, the 9, and not the subgrades, the 7.5. That's what people look at. You can get a higher number and you can pay less. It costs less to grade. It costs less, in resale, everything. So if you're paying for it, if you really need to have an 8 next to it, it's easier and cheaper to get the BGS slab. But again, the quality will go down some. BGS is just, the rule of thumb is that it's 1 grade lower. That is not with all cards, though. I have found that is not true with it's probably like an 80%, 75% of the time, 80% of the time. The other is you're within a half grade, but you won't find a BGS that is going to be of a higher quality than a PSA ever, really. Maybe once in a while, but not with Star. And so the hard thing, again, a BGS, has that loyalty. They've had people that have been there, that are just wanting their collections graded in one type of slab. And so they don't want to cross over, or they don't want to get PSA slabs. And that's totally understandable. Each person, collecting however they're going to. But that resale, if they ever go to do it, they're going to obviously, they're going to be selling their cards for, it'll most likely be a little less. But the one distinct advantage of BGS is subgrades. And that's a huge advantage. More information is always better. And buying online or breaking it down, this is one thing that I think is just fantastic that I wish PSA would do. And it makes it just for your taste. You can kind of personalize with the subgrades to your taste and what you are looking for. This allowed me to make purchases like for my 101 here. it made it so the centering doesn't bother me that much. I've said this before. Star cards come that way. An 86 Fleer card very much bothers me when the centering is off. You can see that shift. And one of the reasons why is a lot of cards are that way. There is a ton of well-centered Fleer cards because simply there's just a ton of them. So, you get to see it even in bad, even if your corners are messed up and everything, you'll still get good centering here and there. And not with Star. Star most often, like the 101, like I said before, is generally it's always off center. Most every single copy, it's going to be shifted over a little bit to the left. So that subgrade doesn't bother me as much. I really focus on the other subgrades. So that makes me get it to tailor the card to how I want to purchase it and what matters to me. So, that is one thing that I really love about buying Beckett. And generally, if I'm going to purchase online, I would prefer to do that. So that is kind of what I view the whole thing as is, hey, which one do I prefer? It really comes down to the card I'm buying and where I'm buying it also. It really depends. And obviously the price. As far as crossing over, again, that 101 card I can use. This is a good crossover candidate. There's high subgrades. This is a 7.5, but this is one of the few ones. The reasons why I look for high subgrades is I believe that this would cross over to a 7 over in PSA. And you have to have these high subs in order to be confident or close to confident that you're going to be able to pull that off. All right. So to sum up, for BGS, some of the pros are that it's just lower cost and that you have subgrades. And really the subgrades are the main sell, but it's cheaper to buy if you want a big number, your big number 8 or 9 or whatever, you're going to get it at a lower cost. Your cons are the quality is going to be a bit less for that number, but the inconsistency over the years is in sharp contrast to PSA. So again, Beckett's been doing it for so long that you had so many graders come in over those decades and they view them differently, and you'll see like in the, a 7 can have a full range, a 7.5, 8. They can kind of blend in. There's a bunch of 7.5s and stuff that are better than 8s. And, you'll find things like that just because of the range of, the range of grades over the years and the graders. So that's kind of a con for BGS. For PSA, your pros are the consistency. They're in stark contrast. They've been doing it a short time. Consistency is very good and the quality is good. Cons is also a pro, depends if you're a buyer or seller, is resale value. So, obviously this is all going to come down to, what you're interested in and what there's a much larger quantity of BGS slabs simply because of all the years of everyone doing it. So those are going to be entrenched and a lot are entrenched in collections, but, so finding PSA ones they're going to be a little harder to get as well. So, get what you love, obviously, for whatever reason. But just hopefully this gives some people some information on what's now happened because of the big PSA shift and kind of rock the 1980s basketball card market. So subscribe, comment, like. Would love to hear the comments. Would love to hear some opinions and read them. So if you can put them down, please do. And then I will see you at the next video.